Mamma mia. This girl is suing her ex-boyfriend because she says he invited her on a trip to Italy and then canceled, and now she's out a bunch of money. I'm Drew.
Drew who?
And this is the case of the day.
So I'm here today because my ex owes me $1,350 for trip expenses that he didn't allow me to go to. Me and my ex have been on and off for about 6 years. We also have a child together. And then he invited me for a work trip to Italy as his plus one. And we spoke about the trip, and he told me to look for stuff to do in Italy. All of them were non-refundable, and he knew about it because we spoke about it a few times. And then a day before the trip, he decided to uninvite me. He said that he doesn't have a plus one, which is a lie, Your Honor, because he didn't invite me so he can have some alone time with his coworker, Kelly. And so they can have he didn't invite me. So
Okay. Now let me. What were the things that you booked?
I have $250 for a nanny that he said he's going to pay, and I also have proof for that. $200 for a trip to the Vatican. I also have $100 for a tour around Italy, and I also have $97 for a dress because he told me to buy fancy clothes so I can impress his coworkers.
He told you to buy.
I did not.
Yes, he did. He told me to impress your coworkers, so you told me to dress appropriately, so I bought a fancy dress. And also $400 for a class to make pasta.
Now, did he give you a budget?
No, he did not. He just said book stuff to do.
And so you said right before you were to go, he told you that he didn't have a plus one.
Yep.
Okay. Trip canceled. Right?
Yes.
That's
You
right.
lied, huh?
Your Honor, there's a lot more that goes along with it. Wasn't just a trip cancellation. I never.
Bottom line is you lied about the plus one. You did have a plus one.
So this trip came after I got a raise and I got a new job at the company. This new job came with, yes, a few perks, one of those being a trip. When I knew that I was going to go on the trip, I got really excited and I said, we're going to go to Europe. However, I don't know what my plans are going to be over there, if I'm going to have to do business things, et cetera, et cetera. So I did tell her, why don't you look into some things, for some activities for us to do. I never said book a bunch of things. I especially didn't say book a $400 pasta meal.
I said I'm booking, you said sure.
I never said to book anything. I did offer to pay for the nanny while we were gone. That is one thing that I did offer
You
to pay
still
for.
didn't pay for that.
Now, Ms. White, keep your eyes toward me. Don't respond to everything that he says. As a matter of fact, don't respond to anything he says. I gave you an opportunity to speak. Zip it for the moment, okay?
Your Honor, we have a son that I'm very happy to support and take care of, and that's one thing that's always stayed very consistent from my part. Honestly, Your Honor, this relationship for me has been walking on eggshells, and I suspect that she might have some kind of a borderline personality disorder because my very existence seems to bother her all the time, as you can well see. I get words put in my mouth. It's always been a constant thing like this, and it's been up and down for me, Your Honor.
Okay, so tell me what you did about it.
So, when I did tell her about my promotion and the trip, I got very excited. And what did she do? She made it about herself. She said, oh, so now you're going to spend more time at work and you're not going to be able to take care of our son because you're going to be gone all the time, et cetera, instead of saying, oh, congratulations, let's celebrate. We never celebrated this. I told her, I'm going to go on a trip to Europe. I'm going to bring you along. And what did she do? She goes and books all these other trips, et cetera, et cetera.
But you said you told her to look into some things that you guys could do while you were in Europe.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
It sounded
All right.
like a nice thing to do if I was able to bring her. When we're about to go to the trip, she's livid at me for not planning our Europe trip, not taking care of my son, which is a complete lie. So I decide, you know what? I need a vacation from this. I go to work all day long and I come back and I get yelled at for trying to support my family. How am I supposed to feel of that? You know what? I need a vacation. Absolutely. You know what? Uninvited. And yes, I did tell a little white lie. Listen, I'm not going to be able to bring you on this business trip because I need to stay the heck away from you,
You
for a
didn't
little
feel like
while.
you needed a break when you had sex with me a moment before you told me you
I
can't bring a
thought I
plus
told
one.
you to be quiet.
She can't keep it down. Now, I will say, just going on like a vibe check, I don't find the defendant particularly convincing because it's really easy to make a woman, like, to treat a woman that way and to talk about a woman the way he's talking about her. I just don't necessarily believe everything he's saying. It could be true. It could be that she's, this terrible, harpy who is constantly annoyed with everything he does and, took what he said and ran with it and did things he didn't tell her to do and he's over it and doesn't want to see her again. But that could all be true. They've been off again, on again. But I don't know. I don't get the best vibe from him, and I'm not sure I believe everything he is saying. I also find it a little odd that, like, somebody, his work was going to pay for her airline ticket, I guess, and then he was just like, no, you're not coming, and the work was going to eat the cost of that ticket. It seems unlikely, doesn't it? So there's more than what we're being told here, I think.
Mr. West, you took the lady and decided you didn't want her to go on the trip, and you told her that you no longer had a +1, which was a lie.
It was, yes.
It was a lie.
It was a lie. It was a lie, but because I needed some space.
Whatever
And sure,
reason, you still lied. Now you're trying to justify the lie. So go on.
Sure. When you're not receiving support at home as much as I was, when you're getting yelled at all the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then you go somewhere else and someone's celebrating you. Yes, there were posts on Instagram or on social media of the entire work team, but it was never me and Callie doing certain things. That was assumed by other parties. And sure, when I'm being celebrated and stuff like that, that's going to make me feel good. And that's going to make me realize that
Okay,
I need to
again,
be
your
out of
brief
this
says when you
relationship.
came back, you decided that you were going to break up with her and you got together with Callie. Is that a lie too?
I did break up with her.
Okay.
And a short time after, yes, we did get together.
And you and Callie got together.
That's right.
Okay. So now this time the breakup is probably, you will be permanent because you got another woman over there.
It's absolutely
Okay.
going to be permanent. I'm being supported, and she's suing me
Right.
because I broke up with her, and now she's jealous of another woman. That's why I'm being sued.
Okay.
I'm not being sued because I lied, et cetera, et cetera. I'm being sued because she got broken and she didn't win. She's used to winning all the time, and that's not
Okay.
going to happen anymore.
By your admission, you said look into some things to do on the trip, and she told you about the things that she had looked into. She didn't tell you that she had paid for it, so that's one thing.
And I never
But-
said I would pay for any of those
It
things.
was spoken
Would
verbally.
you please be quiet?
Sorry.
Last time, you're working my nerves.
Sorry.
Took you 6 years to work yours. You didn't take you but 5 minutes to work mine, so stop.
Got it.
She told you the things that she had booked, and I'm going to see if they're reasonable or not.
Do you really think that $400 for a pasta dinner that I didn't know about is reasonable, Your Honor?
Did I say anything was reasonable yet, or did I say I was going to decide whether it was reasonable or not?
Let her cook.
And you do say you know about it because she told you the things that she had booked. Booked. She didn't tell you that she had paid. That was your testimony. So you did know about the things she had booked. What your testimony was, I didn't know that she had paid.
I didn't know about the non-refundable fees. I
That's
didn't know
right.
about
And you
that.
didn't know that she had paid and the fees were non-refundable.
That's right.
Reasonable.
Yes.
Okay? And she didn't tell you that
That's right.
when you
I
booked them,
did.
right? And he told you to look into some things, not to just go ahead and book all this stuff, because he's on a business trip. So there's some days and times that they have to do things business to justify this business trip. That's the way business trips work.
Yeah, no, but he knew.
There you go, opening your mouth again while
sorry.
I'm talking.
I thought you were asking me.
He didn't know. You booked and paid for non-refundable things,
Yes.
which meant on a certain day at a certain time, without getting the schedule from him or his coworkers or his employer about what days would be free time and what hours would be free time for you to do these excursions. When you take a business trip, you got to have some time for business. And then they give you time for pleasure. You booked all this stuff as though you guys were going on a vacation.
Yes.
And you didn't have to consider the times. So that was not reasonable for
Yes,
you
but
to
he-
pay non-refundable fees.
But first of all, he knew about that. He knew it was non-refundable.
Did I ask you to talk anymore? His testimony was, I did not know they were non-refundable. Yes, I told her to look into it. That was his testimony. That's what I heard. And I heard yours. And it disputed what he said. You didn't say that. You said I told him, but you didn't say I told him that it was non-refundable. I told him what I booked. But I am saying to you that you were not being reasonable because it was a business trip. You shouldn't have booked anything that was non-refundable without knowing the schedule. Do you understand that?
I do.
Okay. So therefore, he's not going to require him to pay for the $400 non-refundable class.
Thank you.
Okay. You agreed to pay the cost of the nanny, so that $250, even by your own testimony, you agreed to do that. So that $250 you're going to pay. Hush. Both of you. Hush. No. The dress, no. Not ordering you to pay for the dress. I know you had something in your closet you could have worn. The trip to the Vatican, the trip to the tour of Italy, and the reason I'm going to order you to pay a portion of this is because you lied that the reason she didn't go is because you could no longer take the +1. And had you taken her, yes, that's what I'm doing, because you lied. You said I'm no longer eligible. The company is not allowing me to have a +1, and that was a lie.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't
It
know
was a
about,
lie.
I still didn't know about
I don't care. So the ruling of the court is that the defendant shall pay the plaintiff $250 for the nanny costs which he agreed to pay. And I am ruling that you pay the plaintiff $400 for 1/2 the cost of the other items minus the $400 class for pasta. So $550 is the judgment for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Maybelline has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $550.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to pay for any of that.
Well, I hope you're going to go to a trip with your nice coworker.
It's actually booked.
Oh, great. You should go make pasta.
You should go make pasta. Man, these two were like ready to jump in at Judge Maybelline at any moment, which is just not smart. They clearly haven't watched nearly as many TV court cases as us, or they would know that that is not how you get the judge on your side of things. I am also not sure I agree with the judge's ruling here. I noticed that Judge Maybelline does a lot of kind of piecemeal, splitting the baby kind of stuff. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that he did lie, and she punished him in the ruling for that. But it doesn't change that he didn't know or tell her to book all these expensive, non-refundable things, like what the judge said, when she didn't know the schedule. So she's just kind of getting him because he lied to her. And that's her right as the judge, but I'm not sure I agree. What do you think? And what do you think about, my read on them in the beginning? As time went on, I came to feel that kind of both of them should be launched into space. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching with me.